Well, folks, there's only one day left until we enter 2020. And before we start setting those New Year resolutions, we want to take a look back at 2019.
Have to look back to go forward. We have 7 Action News reporter Ross Jones with all the jaw-dropping, tear-jerking, heartwarming moments of the year.
In 2019, heroes were celebrated and villains were revealed. It was a year marked by changes in leadership and in law. And here at Channel 7, we brought it all to you. At Michigan State University, a new direction.
We have made the right decision.
Interim President John Engler was forced to resign after saying that survivors of Larry Nassar's abuse were enjoying the spotlight. It marked the end of a tumultuous tenure that rocked the school to its core. Engler's replacement arrived later in the spring, vowing a new tone at the top.
I want to come to a place where we can work together, where we can make a difference.
Supply the weed. Get out of the way, let us get high.
After voters approved recreational marijuana in Michigan last year, this year, sales finally began.
It's awesome. I don't have to worry about not getting weed.
Nearly 80% of Michigan cities refused to allow recreational marijuana sales, but those that did saw more than $3 million in revenue in just the first 2 weeks.
What can you say to the rank and file who've lost confidence in you?
2019 marked the seemingly endless parade of automotive corruption, with higher-ups at the UAW and Fiat Chrysler pleading guilty in an ongoing bribery scheme.
Mr. Jewell decided that he was going to benefit and enrich himself instead of doing what he is supposed to do.
At least 13 people have been charged so far, and UAW President Gary Jones ultimately resigned just last month. And while UAW leaders fell, UAW workers were on strike. For 40 days, union workers at GM took to the picket line until finally coming to terms in October. The strike cost GM some $2 billion.
For the first auto assembly plant built in the United States in more than a decade.
But there was good news on the auto front when Fiat Chrysler announced its expansion of the Mack assembly plant in Detroit. With the promise of 5,000 new jobs, construction of the $1.6 billion plant continues today.
I would love to have a Chrysler job because it would provide the second income my family needs.
We mourn the passing of a giant.
2019 marked the passing of 2 of Michigan's legislative icons. After more than 5 decades of service, Congressman John Dingell died at 92. In nearly 60 years in the House, he played a key role in the passage of signature legislation, from the Civil Rights Act to the Clean Water Act to Obamacare.
He was an old-fashioned man who did things in an old-fashioned way that we should adapt for new times.
And months later, we lost John Conyers, the longest-serving African-American member of Congress. He fought to expand voting rights, to end the war in Vietnam, and to reform policing in America.
To know Congressman Conyers was to know a living legend.
Throughout the summer, Detroit was on edge while police hunted a man believed to be responsible for a string of murders.
We're convinced that we believe we have the makings of a serial killer rapist.
The killings triggered a massive door-to-door dragnet to hunt down the person responsible. Ultimately, say police and prosecutors, it was this man, 34-year-old D'Angelo Martin, charged with the killings of 4 women.
He took away an aunt. He took away a mother, something that cannot be replaced.
An American hero who will never be forgotten.
And the tears continued when the city lost one of its finest. Officer Rasheen McClain, killed in November after responding to a home invasion. He had served the city for 17 years.
He worked in his calling. I never known him to want to be anything other than a police officer.
When I was having a down day, he'd just bring me up, you know, or anybody. He was just a great guy, a professional, and he knew his job.
Hard to believe that much happened in just a year. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was our Ross Jones reporting, and our hearts go out to all of those who lost loved ones this year.
And for more information on any of those stories you just saw, head to our website, WXYZ.com.